us when to start and what to do. We'll do it.
All right. Well, now of course, I know y'all from the American Classic Sci-Fi track. So I guess let's talk about that first. How long y'all been doing it? How did you start doing it?
Okay. Well, how did you find us?
Well, I've been going to DragonCon since 2004. Mm-hmm. I would have gone earlier, but I was broke and could never afford it. And now it costs twice as much, but I have a job now. But so I've been going since 2004, and of course I love sci-fi, so I pretty much go to everything sci-fi. Well, that and the X track, and sometimes I'll go to the Apocalypse track sometimes, but pretty much the sci-fi tracks and the X track. And so of course I love sci-fi, and I see, I like the trivia thing that y'all do. I go to that. And I've also, I would read Revelation SF too. I was very familiar with that.
Good, great. That we have a funny story about that. Actually, Gary, I first met Gary because of the website.
Okay.
And we both went to DragonCon, and I was there for the website, and Gary was there as a fan of the website.
Cool.
Yes. Both at a Star Trek panel, wasn't it, Gary?
Yeah, it was a panel on Enterprise was about to come out. We're talking what, this was like 2000?
20 years ago.
Yeah, but it was a panel with Peter David and I can't remember the writer's name now. She's a lady, she wrote the book Sarek.
I don't remember.
Yeah, but she's a good writer.
Yeah.
But it was her, him, and one other person, and they were talking about what they were hoping for, what they expected, what they'd like to see for Enterprise. And I've been reading Joe and Shane Ivey's website when they started with Zealot.
Oh, okay.
Which I found by, of all things, this is how I'll tell you how old this is in internet years. It's like the prehistoric. I saw an ad on Winamp for Zealot.
Oh my gosh,
yes.
That was a long time ago. I don't remember Winamp having ads. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
No, it wasn't Winamp. It was Real Player. Sorry, it was a Real Player.
I remember Real Player too. That was the one. Was that the one from not iTunes? It was Real Media. I remember Real Player now. I remember that.
Yeah. But there was always this little ad for Zealot, sci-fi, fantasy, and fun. So I clicked on that, and I went and I started following them on Zealot, and then they became. And so that's how I found them, and I would chat on the message boards and stuff. Okay. And just before the con, Shane Ivey, I have to give him credit for this. He wrote a fake article because this was like I said, this was 2000. So the prequels were out, and he wrote a fake article of George Lucas and Rick Berman released joint press release to fans saying "screw you."
Well, they kind of did. I mean,
well, exactly.
They did screw us. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm sitting there in this Enterprise panel, and I throw up my hand for a question, and I'm like, and I reference, hey, this website that I read does release this article. How much of the problems with Star Trek that's going on right now do you think are due to the writers, or do you think it's the producers?
Ooh.
And Peter David said, well, if you look, they're all the same names.
Rick Berman?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. So what happens when one person has control? Same thing with George Lucas.
Yeah. So Joe is sitting like, 6 rows behind me with Shane?
Yeah.
So you guys, what was it like for you, Joe, when you heard that someone say, hey, this website, Zealot?
I'm like, oh my God, he's talking about us!
You like me. You really like me.
Yeah. Heck yeah. And then after the panel, we ran Gary down in the hallway. And I believe the conversation went something like this. Hey, you know that thing you just said? We wrote that.
That's so cool.
Yeah, they're like, hey, that website you mentioned, Zealot. And I went, yeah, they went, that's us!
That's us!
And you were like, that's ridiculous. Don't be stupid.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, that's cool, because I thought I'd seen they'd said they were going to be there, and I was like hoping I would run into them, but, it's like 10, at the time, it was like 10,000 people.
Yeah, now
it's so spread out.
Yeah, and I think we hung out for like the next 2 hours. We had lunch.
We did. We went straight to food, from panel to food.
Food is always good if you can fit it in.
Yeah.
And says they were already familiar with me. I was familiar with them. A loving friendship was born.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and for years, Gary and I did panels together at the various tracks. And then we took over the American Sci-Fi Classics track because we kind of been helping out the guy who ran it before us.
Okay.
And then he retired, and we were brought on board.
Just
and
swooped in there
ever since.
Yeah, I still remember that conversation when at the DragonCon. It was 2011 when Ron, the guy who used to run it, was like, "This is my last year. I have to stop." He had medical issues, and Joe and I both pretty much looked at each other off of the side. We had the same half of the conversation of, "I want to do this, but I don't think I can do it on my own."
Yeah.
And so we tracked down Kellen Harkins, the head of the American Sci-Fi and Fantasy Media track, and went, "You think we could do this?" And she went, run away screaming.
So labor of love.
Yes.
But we did it anyway.
You did it. And, almost 10 years later, still going strong, right?
Yep. Yeah, we're at, what, 80, let's see, 2012 was our first year, wasn't it, Joe? Because 82 was one of our first big panels.
That's right. Let's say it's all kind of a blur now. But I believe, 2012 was our first year.
Yeah, that 1982 panel, I still wish someone had recorded it because I still think it's one of the best panels I've ever done. It's how we met most of the ESO guys. And that was the panel that when it was over with, I was like, yeah, we got this. We got this in the bag.
Because exactly. Because that was the year where we met. Part of a deal with running a track is you got to have a crew, basically.
Okay.
And we have found such a great squad of panelists, experts, podcasters, writers, and they're just the nicest, funniest bunch of people, and we don't have to worry about the panel's going to go off the rails or somebody's going to start talking about politics. Exactly. Your face. Exactly.
Yeah.
We've been very lucky, and we've only had like 2 people I can think of that we've ever had to bounce.
Okay. I'm sorry about that, by the way. I was drunk.
You weren't one of them, and I remember, and you would be surprised how much alcohol flows.
Oh yeah, yes. I can imagine.
Yeah, although I have learned it's okay to do a panel tipsy. Don't do a panel drunk.
Not full on drunk. Yeah, I always think I'm okay till I'm not.
It's too late. Exactly.
I'll think I'm okay, and I'm like, I can talk perfectly. I'm so articulate, and everybody can understand me. And then I think I can walk fine until I stand up, and I go right over. Yeah. Usually I'm the only one who thinks I'm fine. Everyone's like, I can tell by other people's expressions when they start going, that's when I know I'm not okay. And I'm like, okay, maybe I better just chill out in the corner for a little bit.
Sober up a little.
Where's my drink? Who took my drink? Give me my drink. And usually at that point, someone's taking it from me. Yeah.
Probably a good idea.
Yeah, probably a good idea.
Yeah, but yeah, it was rough. I'm touching my face. Oh no, I'm breaking quarantine.
I've been touching my face. I'm pretty sure I already had it, so I'm not too worried.
Oh Lord.
But those first 2-3 years as we were building people, I think that was the roughest part. I don't know how Joe feels about that, but for me, part of it was that those first 2-3 years building that crew, because I can still remember 1 or 2 times where, and this is the reason we had, I think, the biggest problem that we've overcome was we used to over panel. You know, we would put like 8 people on a panel, and that's like 6 too many.
Yeah.
But we did that because those first 3 years, we'd schedule 5-6 people, and 1 or 2 of them would show up. And it's still one of the worst things for me. It was that first year. There was a panel on Monday, so I don't blame them, but I blame them.
Some people are going home or they're sleeping in. Yeah.
Yeah, but it was a panel about holiday-themed horror movies, and I was expecting to bounce off 3 other people, and nobody else showed up.
That's messed up.
Yeah. So
They should at least texted or something.
Nope.
Yeah.
Nope. No, we've been left hanging many a time,
Not cool.
but not lately.
Okay,
because
good.
of the fact that we have gotten such a good crew of people
Good.
backing us up, and but beyond that, it's just fun. I gotta even if we were not working there, me and Gary would still probably come to DragonCon.
Oh yeah.
And we both still attend and do stuff at other conventions before, like in all over the Southeast, really, outside of DragonCon times. This is just kind of a side project for us now.
Yeah. The South and especially Georgia are a hotbed of nerd activity. There's almost, well, until lately, there's like almost a convention every weekend.
Yeah. And that'll come back. That is I'm putting it out there. It'll be like that again eventually.
Yes.
I hope so. I want to save some of my money. Hopefully we'll have DragonCon in September. I'm really hoping. So I'm trying to put some of my money aside.
Yeah, I'm just putting positive vibes out there. I know Gary's doing the same thing. Until they tell us we're not, we're acting like we are.
Planning on it. Yeah. I mean, that's...
like Joe and I came up with the other day, we have to be like Linus. We have to have the most sincere DragonCon track. DragonCon will happen.
Yes, we have to believe it to make it so.
Yes.
Yep.
So, we can't say if, we have to say when. Otherwise, oh no.
Yeah.
We're showing up anyway.